What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Davita Chanel, and I am back to get all up in it with you. And I gotta say, November tried to take your girl out. Well, my voice. See, first of all, I got really, really sick. I got this weird cold, and nothing would help it go away. I mean, I was on Mucinex, I was on the Dayquil, NyQuil, all the things. Nothing was happening. This cough was just lingering. I was trying to, step into the deepening of my voice and make it sexy and raspy, but nah, dog. It just was more like hacking and messy. So there was that part of November. And then there was November 5th. And I gotta say, your girl was shocked. If I'm honest, and if I can't be honest on my own podcast, then what am I doing? But the election results, they kind of sent me spiraling. At first, when Joe Biden said he wasn't running, I knew in my heart that the overly qualified Kamala Harris would not win because I just didn't feel like folk would vote for a black woman. And that hurt me. And of course, this announcement came on my birthday, July 21st. But then a lot of people were saying they were with her, and like the convention was so hype. And then all these astrologers that I follow, shout out to the astrologers on TikTok, they were all saying she was absolutely gonna win. So I was like, you know what? This is just my nerves. I'm stuck in the past. People not tripping on that no more. They're gonna vote for her because she's the best, and because the other guy is, well, not. But it didn't go like that, and it made me realize that I live in a bubble. And in my bubble, it's just people that think like I think. And my algorithms are all tuned into that same thing. And I just didn't know there were so many people that didn't agree with me. And, now it is what it is. And we got what we got. So the reality is I fell off for a bit. I mean, the cough, the cold, the feeling sick, the feeling isolated, the feeling like, I wasn't in alignment with 70 million people. It gave me a whole lot to think about. And so I gave myself a time limit to deal with that. And then the reality is we must continue on. So here I am pushing through, attempting to, do the things I like to do. And I really like to podcast and get all up in it. So here we go. And if I'm going to be in a bubble, I might as well make it a bubble I like Galinda the Good Witch, how she have a little bubble. I'm going to be in my bubble. And this bubble going to be full of activities I love, and only seeing the people I want to see, and only responding to people who reach out to me. I'm not doing it all no more. I'm tired. I'm done. But I couldn't shake the feeling that being a woman, you have to do more, you have to be more. And sometimes it's just still not going to be enough for people that are stuck in, the patriarchy and the way that they view things. Things that I watched that I want to get all up in it with you about, they all reflected where I was right now. And they all reflected, what I was thinking, what I was feeling. They really, really, illustrated how I was feeling as a woman during this time. So I got 3 films I want to get all up into, and these are the things that helped me get over my feelings about the election. So let's hop on in. The first thing I watched was Meg Thee Stallion in her own words. Now, yes, my mama live in Houston. Yes, I went to Thurgood Marshall on the campus of TSU. But I know very, very little about the megastar Meg Thee Stallion. I know she was from Houston, like I said. I know she went to TSU. And I know that she had lost her mom. And then I knew she got shot in her foot. And the whole internet was trying to act like she didn't, which was very shocking to me. So the documentary basically covers a bit of the start of her career to the shooting, and then the aftermath, and all that she went through until the verdict was issued. And I thought this was a very well done doc. I love the use of animation and the way that the filmmaker chose to use the animation to kind of show some of the earlier parts of her life, especially like little girl Megan, like riding with her mom. I just thought it was super cute and endearing. It was so much emotion put into this. I mean, I cannot imagine getting shot and then not saying anything, keeping it close to my vest, and then my shooter basically coming for me online, like trolling me. and losing my best friend in the process. Your girl Meg is stronger than me. Them knees not the only thing she got that's better than mine because her emotional state, like I would have been done. The doc was so good at pointing out so much of the hypocrisy in the music industry. I mean, hell, in life and on social media, especially. It seemed to me that she was very hated for basically speaking out on her for JJ. Because after WAP took off, it seemed like it just opened the door for fuck her rhetoric. And that's basically what made it okay for some folk to say, it was cool for him to shoot her. And for other folks to say she didn't even get shot. I mean, what in the fuck makes that okay? And people were saying things like, well, she lied to Gayle King. Now, y'all, I know people in real life who have lied about way worse than denying sleeping with some whack dude. I mean, haven't we all erased one or some of those folk from our memory? I mean, overall, this documentary shed so much light on the young woman's life. And she's very young. She's not like some old broad that's been at this. She's super young. And like I said, she lost her mom just as she was taking off. And it seemed like the way the documentary presented it, her mom was like her biggest supporter and the reason she even got into it in the first place. So I don't know. I am very much rooting for her. And I hope she continues to care for herself and find more and more success. Oh, and shout out to filmmaker Neka Anara. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. She had very strong and compelling storytelling throughout this documentary, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I would highly recommend Meg Thee Stallion in her own words. I saw it on Amazon Prime. I'm sure it's on other streamers, but I really enjoyed it. The next film I got all up into was this movie called Substance. It's starring Demi Moore. Fine ass, gorgeous ass, sexy ass, non-aging ass Demi Moore. So Demi Moore plays this woman who is told by her boss, who is played by Dennis Quaid, who looks so fucking gross throughout the whole movie. He tells her basically she's too old and it's time for them to move on. So the character embarks on this mission to get this substance that will make her, well, the substance is gonna turn her into Margaret Qualley, the girl from Maid, but like a fabulous version of Margaret Qualley with like boobs that do not fall, that type of Margaret Qualley. But this substance is only gonna turn her into that for 7 days at a time. So what can go wrong? This movie is very good. It's a foreign film, so it has a different point of view and the international type shots, and the colors are phenomenal. But I really got into it. Although the whole time I just kept wondering, how could anyone think Demi Moore was too old to do anything? I mean, she was still Demi Moore. So at one point she disrobes, and yes, she's still fine as fuck. So, I mean, who would have the audacity to tell her she wasn't, it? But I'm sure it has happened because that's just the society we live in. It's no secret that as women age, we are seen as less than, while men are allegedly more distinguished. Well, unless you're Joe Biden, because, well, let me stop. I digress. I love the substance. And, well, I guess I shouldn't say love. That's kind of strong. I really liked the substance, and I loved the first 2 hours and 10 minutes because it kind of lost me at that point. But I do think it's still worth a watch. And again, this is another female filmmaker, the French director Coralie, I believe her name is, but she had such amazing choices. There's this one scene that everybody's talking about. I'm sure you can see it online without even watching the movie because I think it's the award pitching scene, but it's Demi Moore in a mirror getting dressed. There's very little dialogue, but it's her just dealing with herself and like trying to accept herself as she's getting ready for this date. And it was so, so powerful. I enjoyed the substance. I think there are very, very, very strong themes there and highly recommend. Now, last on my list of movies that I watched to get over myself and my feelings and all the things and thoughts that were in my head about being a woman at this time on the planet. Okay, the last film on my list is from Zoe Kravitz. It is your girl Zoe stepping behind the camera in her directorial debut. It's called Blink Twice. And y'all, I did not know what to expect from this movie. The only thing I knew is that one of my friends had seen it and he said that he and his wife watched it after going down the Diddy rabbit hole. And I couldn't quite resonate like what was happening with Diddy that would have something to do with a movie with Channing Tatum, but I took it with a grain of salt. I also hate spoilers, so I didn't want to, get too into the movie. And I'm trying my best to not reveal too much in terms of spoilers as I talk about all the movies today. But with this one, I am treading lightly because it is the type of film that you gotta kind of like go on the journey with. And even though some points can be a bit predictable, it is a lot to be revealed. So I highly recommend seeing this sight unseen. Don't read about it, just watch it. And it's one of those movies where the director's eye and their choices are so prevalent. The colors are spectacular. The lead actress, Naomi Aki, like she and Zoe must have a very strong bond because Zoe did not get one bad shot of her. She looks phenomenal throughout the whole movie. Her like perfect gap tooth smile, her perfect eyes, like the fear, the emotion, the terror in her eyes sometimes, but also the fierceness when that the turn in the movie happens and she like steps into her power. It's a wonderful thing to see. Now, the film does come with a trigger warning for depictions of sexual assault, and I really appreciated the thoughtfulness of the director in approaching these depictions. Like that type of content is very sensitive, but I felt like she approached it in a way where it was at least palatable, which I don't know how we should approach making sexual assault palatable, but for a film, I think she did a really good job. Channing Tatum was the perfect dream guy who just ain't right. So you better keep your eye on him, girl. Watch out. Like rich, fine, all of that. But also slightly freaking crazy. And by slightly, I mean all the way. So the type of guy you gotta keep your eyes on. And I always appreciate a Haley Joel Osment appearance, and he was in it so funny. There were so many cameos and so many great features. Freaking Gina Davis is in the movie. So Blink Twice left me thinking yet again about how women and the ways in which we must protect ourselves in these streets. I also got to really thinking about what I'd forget forever if I could. Or would I be like, Gina Davis's character and not want to remember? Like, would I want to lock some things away forever and then like fight like hell to make sure that those things stayed hidden for forever? So overall, I really enjoyed Blink Twice. It's a fun ride. Again, it's shot so beautifully. It reminded me, and this movie is nothing like Blink Twice, but it reminded me of Belly in that the shots were just so beautiful that I could see it, like if you go to a club or somewhere and they could have this movie in the background with whatever music playing. It was just so visually stunning. I was very impressed with the directorial debut from Miss Zoe Kravitz. So that's it. 3 projects, 3 women directors, 3 things that helped me get out of my funk and back to chit chatting here on this podcast, but also back to creating and back to doing the things that I know I have to do as a creative. Yes, the election didn't go my way. So does that mean I'm going to roll up into a ball and die? No, I'm going to, continue to show up in the world and do the things I have to because that's what life is all about. My life does not belong to the United States of America, honey. So whoever the president is, I still have to show up and live. And, I am naive enough to believe in the power of the people, even though 70 million of them did something I cannot believe, but we are still the people. This is our shit. And we are going to get over this, just like we've gotten over things in the past. It might be hard. Your girl might be stocking up on tons of canned beans, which, side note, I have been very much into this thing called a dense bean salad for my lunches. So canned beans are coming in very handy. But again, I digress. all in all, I am here to say that I am still here and I hope you are too, because we got shit to do. And the main thing we got to do is live, because life is for the living. So thank you all for tuning in, and I look forward to the next time that I get to get all up in it with you. Thank you.